Everything you learned in history class was a lie. Well, maybe not everything, but they skipped the best parts. Introducing Stupiracy, where stupidity meets conspiracy. Ever heard of the Olympic marathon that nearly killed its runners? Or the time a pope put another pope's corpse on trial? Join me, Scott Rizzuto, and Tim McKernan as we uncover the most outrageous historical moments and mind-blowing conspiracies you won't believe actually happened. Tune into Stupiracy for your weekly dose of historical absurdity. Available wherever you get your podcasts. Remember, history is dumb, but laughing at it is smart.
I have a social distancing update from New York.
All right, let's go.
They're under strict social distancing.
yes,
Don't get out there.
No.
Well, this U.S. Navy ship Comfort rolls into the harbor, and thousands and thousands of people standing next to each other are down there taking pictures of it.
Okay.
They didn't stay home.
You mean thousands.
Thousands.
Yep.
Thousands of them.
How we doing in Miami? We still, that people have spring break all the way through Easter, basically.
Yeah.
Are we
Yeah.
still got beaches full, or
No,
are we
no.
cleaning them out?
Well,
They're slow to the party, but they've started to clean them out.
but I've heard there still are some kids there still living it up. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the nice thing is, when they're down there, even if they're not on the beach, they're staying in luxury hotel rooms where there's a lot of spacing in those things.
How'd
down
you
there.
like to be the
Daytona
Minnesota?
Beach has those nice hotels
Yes.
down there on the beach where they should burn them down to get rid of the virus.
How about the couple from here that's stuck on that cruise ship in is it Panama, in the Panama Canal? Right
Has
now?
there been a name on that couple? Because I believe we can have that guy on the air if it's who I think it is.
I think it's Mr. and Mrs. Unbleeping Lucky.
I will try to find that, Joe, because I know Channel 5 did a long story on them
Hey,
yesterday.
did either one of you two do a spring break when you were in college or high school or anything like
I
that?
did not. We've been through this. I did not.
All right.
My spring break was pretty well. Once I went to one semester and said, "Nah, I'm not doing this. I'm going to go once in a while."
Spring break for Pat started in September.
That's right. That's right. Well, I went. I was a good earnest C minus the first quarter, but then
earnest.
I said, "The hell with this. This is ridiculous." I
You
just
guys?
finished this.
2 weeks ago, I needed some electrical work on a Saturday, and I called my guy. And he returned the call, and he said, "Guess where I am?" I said, "I don't know." He said, "I'm in Panama." He was on a cruise ship in Panama. And I'm thinking, this is the ship that's now in the news.
Wow.
So I'm going to call him after the show today and see if it's him and see if he answers, and we'll get him on the air.
Wow. That would be a fantastic get. That would that would be very good. Well,
Yeah.
it's the whole thing is driving me nuts. If the whole idea, stay home, don't go do anything. But by the way, it's 2 million of them. You still might get sick. What the hell is that about?
Well, I was
don't get it.
telling Such off the air, we're just waiting around to die. Because if the three of us get it, we're gone.
Nah, I don't think so.
Really?
I never had a cigarette in my life.
Yeah, and what else do you have going?
Prime physical condition, and Diet Coke kills it. You know, Trump's wrong when he's giving them that other medicine. Tell us to drink Diet Coke, Donald. Damn it, it'll kill anything.
How about him yesterday talking about his TV ratings were that of...
Oh, that's right.
He's so awesome.
He's so proud. He's so proud of his TV
He
ratings.
said that was bigger than Monday Night
Well,
Football.
that's why he extended the thing to April 30th. He's having the time of his
it's
life.
a bonanza.
You know what? We've got to play that guy we discovered for Patrick.
Yes.
Pat, haven't you
Joe.
heard this guy?
Oh, I have.
Okay.
The Trump podcast
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
hysterical.
Yeah, okay.
He's got it right down, man.
Oh, he's so good.
And the good thing is he calls it the Trump podcast or something, so he gets all the true believers in there, and then he starts making fun of them.
Yes.
Oh, it's.
I think we should hear it again, though,
I
Reeves.
do. I want to play it just for the Easter Bunny line,
Yeah,
because that's my favorite
it's
part.
a great
of the whole
line.
show.
There's a bunch of them on there. He's doing it every week. You know?
Christowitz. But
No.
Back up so we
God
get the.
All
rose
right.
him from
Hang on. Here we go.
Christ.
250 years ago, our Lord and Savior,
250
Jesus
years.
Christ, whose full name, he was Jewish, so his full name might have been like Christowitz, but God rose him from the dead
Rose him.
on a holiday we now call Easter. Not a lot of people know that, but it's called Easter. It's when Jesus and the 2 Corinthians met the Easter bunny and came back from the dead. So it's a beautiful story. Very important for the Christians like me. And I have decided, I'm announcing today, we are going to bring back the economy on Easter Sunday. Because God, who, to be honest, is, he's a good God. He's done some strong things. Let's be honest. His record is not so great though. He brought one guy back.
One guy.
On Easter Sunday. And it was his son, so it was kind of biased. But we're going to bring back the entire economy on Easter Sunday. And at that point, I think basically I'm better than God. So when we do it, we're going to do it toughly. We're going to do it with great compassion, great strength, tremendous strength, and also toughness. Easter Sunday, we're going to put it on pay-per-view. God versus Trump. Who brings back more people on Easter Sunday? We're doing it. I'm going to fire Fauci probably on Good Friday. And they call it Great Friday for Trump. And that's it. So let's do it. Let's get
It's
perfect health. Let's get back to work.
the big hack is good too.
Then he goes, good health, good health.
Yeah, good.
Christowitz.
Yeah, it's. I wonder how long is that guy a well-known impressionist?
I
or
don't
not?
think he was until about a week ago, and now
No,
he's everywhere.
is that his background or
He's a lawyer by trade.
Oh, really?
He's trying to become a stand-up guy, stand-up
Well,
comedian.
I got news for him. He's just made it.
Right.
Yes.
He does a really good Bernie, and he also does a really good Obama.
Oh, I didn't see his Bernie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he does a wonderful Bernie.
Yep.
Wow. But Trump is hard, man.
Yeah.
Because there's you got to get. You know what I always said about Rookie. He's not that good of impersonator, but he did the perfect Jesse because he did the calm down, crazy Jesse instead of the screaming Jesse,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
and that was more effective.
And he had the Jesse wiggle down perfectly.
which of course doesn't do much good on the radio.
And this guy is all over the map, scatterbrained wise, the way Trump is. Back
Yes,
and
right,
forth,
yes,
and
yeah. It's
he'll give you a compliment, but then he'll take it back and insult you. And
That's right. All right, Joe, you hadn't heard about my TV problems yesterday. I can just trace it back to January 3rd or so when I made the big decision to go to streaming. Why the wife was in Florida and didn't tell her.
Right.
And then when I went down there a couple days later, I had to break the news to her and said, "Don't worry, honey, you'll be able to figure it out. It'll be great when you get back," because she was coming back before me. And she was very concerned about this. And I kept telling her, well, that cable bill's up to about $3.25 a month. We can't do this anymore.
We got to do something in this house too. It's too much.
But she wanted Comcast. She says, we're old. We can spend all our money on TV if we want to. So anyway, we come back here, and she was adjusting, let's say. But then she broke her ankle, which made her more dependent on TV. And Sunday morning, I got up about 8, and I wanted to look at something on my iPad about some appointment or some damn thing. I don't know what. And no internet. So I go upstairs. I go upstairs, and there's no internet up there, and I get this really uncomfortable look from the wife, like, I hate you and everything you stand for because I don't have TV this morning. So anyway, we went through the whole day, and finally at 10:30 last night, I waited 70 minutes and finally got a woman on Comcast who knew what she was doing, and she fixed it. Mm-hmm. But meanwhile, earlier we had a guy on for 90 minutes.
wow.
One of their guys, and he spent half of that time telling us how much he appreciated our business.
Oh God.
I am so sick of these people telling me that they appreciate my business. Take my money, shut up, and let's go. And now they're still asking you if you see a clerk. You got any plans for the weekend?
No.
Sit on my fat ass and watch TV. Yes, but I don't have any.
You know what I love is when you're on the when you're in that mode, Pat, and you're thanked for your patience.
Yes.
I don't have any
No.
patience.
No.
crazy.
And by the way, those 8 little kids screaming in the background, maybe you could do something if you tell the little bastards to shut up. The working
this
at
is-
home isn't what it's bragged up to
Oh,
be.
so it's their kids shouting and yelling,
Yeah,
not your
we didn't have-
grandkids.
No, I haven't seen them, and the parents are afraid to
Yeah.
let the grandkids get near us. So anyway,
Boy,
I'm
you
sick
took
of-
that hard, didn't you?
Let's get this out of the way. Let's get this need. Whoever these people who are out talking to every company, you know, what are they? The coaches,
Yeah.
the attitude coaches. Fire them all. Just give us good service and don't thank us.
They're doing that for their own benefit because they know they're being monitored by their supervisor.
Yes, I know.
That's the only reason they're doing it. And for some reason, yeah, they've decided that this will make them seem more likable.
But you having a good day? Not really.
So the lady that solved your problems, and you said she solved them in a matter of what, 90?
5 minutes.
Yeah.
5 minutes.
What do you have any idea what she did?
No. And the bride asked me, now I hope you wrote down what she did. I said, well, she went silent for 5 minutes, and like that other idiot who kept telling me how much he appreciated my business, and she came back and said, give me a new username. I did. Give me a new password. I did. She said, look on one of your devices. Then she popped up, and then I went on a TV and went on another TV, and it was fixed.
So I hope you saved your new password.
Yes, I have that
Okay.
seared in my brain.
Let me ask you something.
Yes.
Prior to, did you try the old unplug it and plug it back in deal?
68 times.
USOB.
Also what they want to do is send you the zap, right? You know, they're going to send
Yeah.
you the.
Oh, right,
Oh, we're
right.
going to say
Yeah.
it don't work.
Yeah.
We've tried it 8 times, buddy. So anyway, I feel sorry for them now. They're absolutely overwhelmed, and they have 80% of their people don't want to make house calls, and I don't blame them
In
for that.
fact,
either.
I know when you sent this out on the Twitter yesterday, a lot of people responded with, "Did you try restarting
Yes,
your
right.
computer?"
That's really helpful,
that
isn't
was
it?
pretty good.
We used to have my all-time favorite computer guy at the Star Tribune, Brian Cravens, was like the first. Remember, Joe, when newspapers started getting their first high-tech guys?
Yeah.
They just took some guy our age and said, "Do you know how to turn on a computer?" And he said, "Yeah, okay, you're our tech guy."
You're the guy. Yeah.
So you'd be out on the road, and all of his, fifth game of the World Series in Oakland at 10 o'clock at night, and your computer stopped functioning. Craven's a great guy. You call him up and say, "Brian, what am I going to do?" He says, "You got the machine turned on?" I said, yes, that's not the problem. Well, turn it off and back on again. Okay, thank you.
I remember a guy named Bruce Adamite.
Oh yeah, little Bruce was right. He was one of the first tech guys.
But
over
he
there.
actually knew what he was doing.
Well, he became a kind of a dweeb. Yes, he did.
Yeah,
He worked forever over there. By the way, he came back and made a copy desk thing. But
Would
yeah,
you,
it
if you
was,
two,
it was interesting.
if you two were going to rate your performance, would you say that you have grown better with technology? Because I'm thinking those early tech guys dealing with you two meatheads in the late 70s, early
yeah, but
80s.
We were not behind the curve. I was the first guy to ever take a computer out of the Pioneer Press.
But were you
Kenny, let's put it this way.
were you good at it?
Kenny, let's put it this way.
Okay.
Super Bowl in Detroit,
I was a witness to this.
Silver Dome.
Yes.
My way that I handled a technology glitch was that I picked up the computer,
Portabubble, very expensive.
poured a bubble, very expensive. I threw that thing as far down the stands as you could throw it, and I watched it disintegrate.
You had guys in front of you. You
Yeah.
had guys in front of you. You just threw it over the ledge.
Yeah, I threw it over the
I
ledge.
was about 5 seats away and said, "Boy, that's counterproductive."
How did you file? Did you have to call it in?
Dictated, I think.
What did I do, Pat? I must
don't
have
know,
dictated.
The thing was like,
Yeah.
you know, the thing was bad.
I didn't want to carry it home anyway. The hell with them.
I know, that was bad. All-time great, though, of the old computer days. Because, Kenny, we had the cheap... There used to be a pecking order in the press box. You know, the cheap-ass newspapers like St. Paul. We had the Texas Instruments.
Right.
Yep.
Okay.
Which-
I always looked down on
it
you
was
for
a
that.
type, yeah, and then you had 2 breasts on the top of it, you know,
Right.
the couplers, you know, they look like falsies.
Bosom.
And
Right.
you'd stick the thing in there, but the correction process was you had to have this treated paper, and if you made a mistake, you had to back up to where the mistake was and then type it on the line. It was just hard. But all us cheap guys like Fort Worth and St. Paul and the second string newspapers were all back in the back row with our
Not me,
Texas
baby.
Instruments. Joe had the porta bubble.
I had the bubble.
He had the bubble, which was
Boy, do they sail nice
we
when you
used
throw
to
'em,
look
too.
there. We used to look up there enviously at these guys. It was
Look at
then
that
we all
Souchere.
ended
He's
up
got
with-
the bubble.
Then we all ended up with Radio Shacks. So
All right.
that was,
Now-
Well, wait a
beautiful.
second, Reavers. I have a question for Joe. How did you explain this to management, upper management?
point.
That you couldn't get away with these
Dropped
things.
it?
Cost like $10,000,
Well,
didn't they?
Man,
I
that
don't
was
re-
2,500 probably.
I don't remember what I did, but I didn't come back with it.
Even more important, I want to know what was the final straw? What led you to toss it over the old?
Well, it
they-
wouldn't
they
type.
did-
It froze up on me.
The thing about the computers back then is they didn't want to work.
Right.
You know, they were against you. The Radio Shack, when we brought that in, they were on your side.
Okay.
You know, because they were so simple. You
They were
just
pro-deadline.
You were just so simple. You know, it was just it was a little word processor, basically.
They were like old British cars at the beginning. Sometimes they worked, sometimes they didn't.
Oh, God, they were unbelievable.
Yeah.
My best ever, though, we're out in San Francisco, and this is like Sid's last gasp at carrying a computer with him and trying to do his own stuff. And he wasn't real good at it. But they made him take a porta bubble to the Vikings 49ers playoff game, not the year they beat them out there, but the next year. So it would have been January '89.
Yep.
And the press box down there, it was cold, and they had heat blowing in under our legs. And Sid put his computer down there, and he had the top off. And when the game was over, he took it out, and the top was melted in a the top was melted in a concave. When Sid went to leave the press box, so he's holding. So finally, I grabbed. I guess I was in Minneapolis by then. I finally grabbed the thing and said, "You take the top, I'll carry the computer for you."
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Because he couldn't make the transition to the Radio Shack, which weighed 2 pounds.
About 10 years ago or so, we were working up the hall, and I had a company laptop, and it wasn't performing up to par. So I punched it as hard as I could,
Ow.
and it went flying. And so I pick it back up, and you could tell looking at the screen that somebody punched it. And
So it was hard to explain.
I told
It had
the
knuckle imprints.
I told the IT
Believe it or
guys.
not, a raccoon came in and ran into the thing.
I said
Pat.
it fell off the table, guys. I'm sorry, and they just looked at me and said, "Uh-huh." And it was
Pat.
I bet it was 3 years before they issued me another laptop.
Pat, guess what I'm looking at?
Don't know.
Looking at my Trash 100, Trash
you
80,
still
whatever.
Got one? I
Still
used to
got
have
it.
about 6 in the basement. I don't know what happened to
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
What are they?
They're little Radio Shacks we
Little
used.
Radio Shack,
and the
Dave.
problem with those is you could type much faster than it could put the words on the screen. So you'd have to sit there and wait till it caught up to you.
Well, and the other, it wasn't backlit. So if you ended up in
Yeah.
the wrong press box that didn't
Oh,
have
yeah.
light, you'd be holding up the light and see it.
Right.
Was
But
there?
my Kenny, my Texas Instrument piece of crap. I'm covering a World Series in Yankee Stadium, Game 6, when the '81 when the Dodgers beat the Yankees, and every time the scoreboard I was plugged into some outlet, and every time the scoreboard put a message up, my computer went zzz. You know, like I'd have like 15 Z's in a row. And they had to be plugged in. There was no battery power.
Was there ever a time before that, previous to that, like I'm going to guess in the mid to early 70s, where you would type copy normally and then put it in this weird-looking device that was a cylinder that was turning?
Comcam.
Xerox,
It's called
yeah.
Comcam. Comcam.
No,
Comcam.
that wasn't it. It was.
Can
what
you
was the name of it?
explain what it did?
It's a
Sportscom.
tumbler.
It was Sportscom.
Sportscom.
We'd hand our copy to Sportscom, but then when we went on the road, if you did 2 papers, I carried a Xerox machine with me, a big fat Xerox machine.
No kidding. And that would send the copy over the phone
Yes,
line.
and I would.
Kenny,
so
it was a tumbler. You'd insert the paper,
Yeah.
and it would spin and spin and spin, and back at the paper, it was spinning and spinning and spinning and coming out, and there was your copy.
Jeez, that had to
That's
be
my
like
favorite.
voodoo, huh?
That's
Magic.
my famous drinking story in Chicago when we'd been out a little late, might have missed curfew, and I remember sitting down to write my afternoon story, like at 3:30 in the morning or something, and the phone rings, and I look at it 6:30, and my head is on the typewriter, and I look up and I'm saying, "Oh God, I hope I've written a few paragraphs. I have no recollection." I look up by Pat Ricey, dispatch staff writer, Chicago, .. That's it. They want their story, and you could set it so you sent it on 4 minutes or 6 minutes for the page.
It took that long.
Oh, God, yes.
I would start. I said, "Oh yeah, you didn't get it? Okay, I'll send."
I'll resend it. Meanwhile, you're just hammering some nonsense out.
First thing I got to do is try to remember what the score was.
Oh, my God.
Pat, I got to tell these guys the famous Libman story.
Oh, that, yeah.
He's
Doc
in
Lemon.
Boston. He's in Boston. He was a sports editor at the Tribune.
Excruciating experience for him to write.
Oh, just dreadful. And so he's in Boston, and it was on the day of the Boston Marathon when the
Patriots Day, yes.
Red Sox always played a day game. And day game ended. Libman starts writing, and 3 o'clock comes and goes. 4 o'clock comes and goes. There's nothing from the newspaper calls him in the press box. He answers. He says, "Yeah, I'm working on it." 5 o'clock comes and goes. 6 o'clock. None of this is exaggeration. 6 o'clock comes and goes. 7 o'clock comes and goes. They call him again. "What's the problem?" I'm going to have it here. 8 o'clock comes and goes. 9 o'clock comes and goes.
Jeez.
He finally, by now, all the lights in the ballpark are off. He's been
Sportscom guy still waiting for him.
the Sportscom guy still waiting for him. There are only 2 guys in Fenway Park. He finally gives it to Sportscom and realizes he can't get out of the stadium and has to climb his way down outside on a chain link fence.
I thought it was on that ladder they have.
There's a ladder, and he climbed
the
his
guy
way
came
out.
down the ladder at Fenway. That Sportscom guy the next day was says,
You know what he said? You know what he said?
I'll tell you what. He said, "I'm going to send your copy before I send that SOB." He said, "Yeah, wasn't it 11 graphs or something?"
6 paragraphs.
What, he was just blocked?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, he
just
just
couldn't-
wanted to.
Well, plus he wasn't any good. So,
He was a sports editor for a while, though.
Yeah,
before
yeah.
he-
well, Gary, I forgive me if I said you weren't any good. Let's put it this way: you were terribly slow. I think
yes,
he
he
went on to. I think he went on to become the editor of the arts and leisure section of the L.A. Times.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That
So
had to
he's
be fun.
he's
Nice
having the
enough
last laugh.
guy, but-
Yeah.
Remember that guy from San Diego, Barry Zrugla or something like that? Barry, whatever his name was. He was a good guy. But he was famously slow. And they were playing in Baltimore. And the beat guy who was there for 100 years, God, I can't remember anything.
I can see him in my mind's
The
eye.
beat guy who was there for 100 years. He hacks out his story, gets on a plane, flies from Baltimore to San Diego. When he gets there, they said, "Hey, is Barry done yet?" And he said, "I don't know. I'm in San Diego. I'm home. I'm in San Diego." The guy was still hacking away, and the guy flew to San Diego.
Wow.
If it
lot
was
of
that
guys-
hard to work, I would have never done it. You know,
A lot of guys were famously slow. I like to be famously fast.
you are fast.
famously fast.
Were you guys carrying electrics or manuals?
when I first started manual.
Who was the guy, Pat? Was it last week or a week before that, where you said it's amazing what you can do when you have no pride?
Oh, that was Billy Millsap. I got to see if he's still alive. Ended up becoming the editor of the Richmond Times-Dispatch, but.
Kenny, I'm looking at two of them. I still have two Olivetti Ledra 32s.
They come
portable typewriter.
in a suitcase, right?
Little case, yeah.
Huh. Cool.
I was an Olympia guy.
That was Olivetti.
Olivetti was a nice machine, yeah.
Yeah, well, you were second-rate news. You were second-rate
news. And we bought our own typewriters, by the way.
Oh.
The paper didn't buy them.
Oh, hell yes, I have my own.
We bought the.
You didn't throw those over the rail.
That was kind of what's the story? What's the story of the guy that he cuts his beard to buy his gal buy the wife a comb? No, she cut her hair to buy her husband a comb, and he sold something to get. What am I thinking of? Not Ransom and Red Sheet. It was an O. Henry story.
Oh, okay. No, I don't. Never read it. Don't know it.
Yeah, you do. If I could get the damn thing straight. Let me look it up.
My favorite is the guy from Montreal who, the year of the strike in '81, he thought the Expos were going to the World Series, so he booked his ticket to Los Angeles, and apparently had a young lady out there that he was going to spend some time with. And then the Expos got beat. You know? No. Oh, no, the Expos.
Didn't they play the Dodgers?
Got beat.
Yeah.
And then he went to Florida and met this gal, but allegedly was covering the World Series, and he told the wife he was covering the World Series, and he comes home and he's got the tan, he's got the good tan, and the wife is giving him hell, and he says, it was the hangle of the sun. The hangle of the sun.
The hangle. It was the hangle.
The hangle of the sun. What did...
it was a story.
His buddy, who's a buddy of mine, called him Secretariat.
It was a story by O. Henry called "The Gift of the Magi."
Okay.
About a young couple, Jim and Della, who are short of money but desperately want to buy each other Christmas gifts. Unbeknownst to Jim, Della sells her most valuable possession, her hair, to buy a platinum fob chain for Jim's watch. While unbeknownst to Della, Jim sold his watch to buy jeweled combs for Della's hair. The essential premise of the story has been copied, reworked, parodied, and otherwise retold countless times in the centuries since it was written. He also did The Ransom of Red Chief. You know that one.
Yes.
Where they kept kidnap a guy and they begged the parents to take him back. But in The Gift of the Magi, I think the CP bought me this first Olivetti Ledra 32, and it took every bit of the $52.99 she had, whatever those things cost back then.
Do you think they cost less than $100? I guess they probably did.
Oh yeah.
But that was when $50 was $500.
Yeah.
Well, it's I was the first guy to carry one out, and Riley and those guys looked at me like I was from the moon, man.
Yeah.
What the hell is that? They were terrified. They were terrified of this technological age, just as I'm now terrified of, who's not having a hard time with this thing? The youth.
The youth. Oh, no, of course
they're
not.
just on their, my 9-year-old grandson's in this league of the Fortnite league, and he just spends 4 hours a day playing Fortnite.
I'll hear my kid come home, and I'll go upstairs 3 hours later, and the TV is not on, and he's doing something on his phone.
Oh, yeah.
I've never seen anything like it. Or I'll give him a good book to read or a magazine to read, and he'll go, thanks, Dad, and he'll look it up on his phone and read it there.
John Prine, one of the all-timers, man.
He might not make it, huh?
Doesn't look good. Doesn't look good.
No.
I was about 3 times this morning. I've listened to Crazy Bone, which might be his all-timer.
It's a great song.
Egg and Daughter Day, Egg and Daughter Night at the roller rink.
Yep.
If they knew what you were thinking, they would have run you out of Lincoln.
Now, Such, you being a newfound prairie dweller, a pioneer, that song should hit close to home for you, like it does for Royce and I.
We played that on the gramophone in the hut quite a bit.
Sod hut gramophone.
Of course, everybody knows the song "In Spite of Ourselves" that he sang with Iris DeMent. That seems to be the biggest song that he recorded.
Well, I just heard driving over here, "Please Don't Bury Me" was another one of his songs. He's got he's got 200 of them.
Yeah, his library's big.
Who's McLaughlin? That's the guy that he used. McLaughlin. He wrote a lot of his songs with. I think some other guy.
We need
Pat,
John
I still say you could play the PGA Tour, just don't have fans.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Let's.
Is this Masters week? Is this
I think
Masters
we got to
week?
see how we get through. We got to see one of these weeks where they don't tell us that 10 million of us are going to die. They got.
Yeah,
they
that's
got.
true.
They got to lower that estimate a little bit.
When's Masters week? The week of Holy Week? Is that Masters?
Yes.
When,
Yeah. It would have been another.
Is the Masters? Was the Masters have been on Easter Sunday this year?
Or is it this first week in April? Or was it 7th through the 10th?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, that reminded me of you got 20 seconds to hear a clip. One of my favorite moments in the history of sports talk, Joe.
Sure.
Ross Berkman had long dreamed of attending the Masters. His dream was coming true. He was about to get on a plane and head east to attend the practice round at Augusta National today with 3 friends. Then, yes, it actually happened. His dog, Sierra, ate his tickets.
No way. John, I must make an admission before you continue the story.
Yes.
We've been watching last year's par 3 contest and commenting on it because
Really?
this year's has been canceled due to rain.
Severe weather.
We didn't know.
Your home of sports talk, ladies and gentlemen.
You know what?
Thanks
Close
for that
enough.
look at sports.
That might have been the same day we asked Rookie for the score updates, and he was reading them from the Colombian Open.
the Colombian
And I said,
Open.
Who the hell are all these Spanish guys? I mean, what happened to Tiger? And we got,
The best
Jose
was
Lampala.
later on to that clip, Pat, I think it was you that said, "Boy, Arnie's looking pretty good here."
Yeah, for a dead guy.
Oh,
he's
my
hitting
Yeah.
pretty
yeah.
good.
Oh, hell yes.
Well, they might come back before most of them.
I think so.
Because
I think so.
no contact necessary. Right?
Well, you're outside and you're not near people.
Do they just push him back, or do they just throw him off the
No,
schedule?
they're off the schedule there.
Okay.
I mean, the Masters will probably play in October. or
Here's what's
something.
going to be interesting, though. We still stick around with this, distancing and everything else come July and August. If the NFL fans are going to have their way, they are going to be enraged if the
You
season
don't want
gets
to give them
delayed.
the option to go to the games if you want a little social distancing. I mean, laying in drunken piles is not the idea.
Have either one-
Especially Vegas, by the way. You want to tell those? I haven't seen Vegas' schedule, but you want to tell them you can't go to Las Vegas for this Packers game or
my
something.
goodness.
Gross.
They'll walk there.
Yes, they will.
Have either one of you two witnessed iRacing yet? Now, not only is NASCAR doing it,
How is
but
it?
IndyCar is doing it, and they do it in dirt tracking.
I bet it's great.
It's not bad. I mean, it's racing, and it's fairly realistic. Nobody gets hurt, and they get like 2 or 3 resets. So if they crash the car and it's so bad,
Okay.
they just hit reset. And
I
they
have
start
not
over.
watched it, but it's probably the closest they have. I'm not a replay guy. It doesn't do anything for me watching replays. So I would rather watch that probably.
There was a
replay.
really good race that they've also been airing classic NASCAR races, and there was a race from 1986 in Richmond where Waltrip and Dale Sr. crashed with 3 laps to go. They were fighting for the lead,
yeah.
and they crashed out and gave Kyle Petty his first win, and that was fascinating because you could tell what kind of cars they were. I mean, that was
Yeah.
back when the stock cars were stock cars. It was really fascinating.
Reavers, do we have any updates on what the Twins and Wild record is on the FSN Classic games?
I
How
still
we doing?
think we're maintaining an undefeated
We
mark.
winning most
Yeah.
of them. We winning most of them. Okay.
And what's
You know what I
interesting? Oh, go ahead, Joe.
Yeah.
You know what I saw the other night? I watched
The
the
Wolves
fight.
actually, they've done some of those. They're 4-6, which isn't too bad.
I watched the Game 7, Capitals and the
Yes.
Vegas Knights.
Yes.
The Caps won that cup on the
Ovi,
road.
You watched it so you could see Ovi celebrate. That's why you watched it.
Not only that, but I had forgotten in what agony he was on the bench in the final 3 minutes. He was just praying. He had his head in his hands. He was just saying, "We got to do this. We got to do this. We got to do this." And then he just went absolutely nuts on the ice when they won that thing.
I got
it was
a
just
hunch
fantastic.
that when he's praying, God's saying, and he's a good God.
Yeah.
He's a good God.
Yeah,
he's saying,
he's done
too
some
late,
bad things.
Too late, Ovi.
Yeah.
You're on your own here, boy. Your
But,
goalie,
yeah.
You need your goalie. I ain't helping you
But
out.
those videos of him celebrating, where he's shooting fireworks into the grill,
Oh,
that's-
the best is,
when he
he's-
lit the girl, he damn near blew up the house.
he's got the best best is, and his wife's getting, don't do that.
And he's singing, "We are the champions."
Well, what's
He's
amazing-
half in the bag.
What's amazing is you look at him and you say, he's on his last legs. He's never going to play another NFL. And he was heading for 60 goals this year.
easily,
He
yeah.
was unbelievable.
Oh, he's just a great player.
He
He's
can
just a
shoot
great
the
player.
puck, man.
Yes,
But what
he
a
can.
character.
Yeah,
He should replace Putin. We'd have a lot better relation.
I think so.
Yeah. So what are we? How are we doing in North Korea with the virus? Are we still shooting them, or any updates?
I think they just shoot it out into the
That's-
Sea of Japan.
Yeah, that's well. No, the first guy to report. I think I got him. They shot
They
him,
just killed him on the
which
spot.
kind of discouraged people from requesting testing.
Right.
That's it. No more positive cases. We're good.
You don't want a ventilator in North Korea.
You know what we're going to be watching though, come the end of April on MLB Network?
Huh.
One whole park slugging home runs for the South in the KBO because supposedly they're going to.
Are they playing?
They've started spring training and they've gotten it under enough control now that they're talking about playing in late April.
And he'll slug so many, we might sign him to another
I
deal.
have to, yeah. Hey Joe, this Twins thing is if they don't play this year, it's a disaster because they
It
got
really
about
is.
8-9 free agents and
Yep.
this team. And I said this to Wetmore earlier today. You're not getting the $140 million payroll next year.
No.
Because everybody's going to take it.
There's no income.
Yeah, everybody. Well, plus you're going to lose 30% of your sponsors when you come back. I mean,
Right,
people
right.
are, when we get out of this, the economy is going to be a disaster.
Is everything going to be prorated if there is a season for contracts
Yeah, so
and
you get
whatnot?
paid on however
many games.
But they've already given them $170 million to split up. But that's all of baseball.
Wow.
How many of these guys are going to stay in shape? I've gained like 40 pounds in the last week. I mean, they're just going to be all fat
Yeah,
bastards.
I noticed that today. What was I attempting to place around my gut today? And I said,
That ain't
belt.
working.
"Oh,
Yeah.
no. Well, what else?
A robe?
You know what was really, what was really bad? Yesterday, I said all there is to do is TV and eat. Yesterday, I didn't have TV. All there was to eat.
Pat, you know what you said last week, didn't you?
What?
You said you went for a walk and you liked it so much you might try it again next
I'm
week.
going this afternoon. It's a gorgeous day. It's great out there. It's got to be in the 50s, right?
Yeah.
I drove through
55.
campus just to take a shot, and there was a
Yeah.
couple of young ladies out, but it certainly is not like this day would have been if we had class.
It got to the point at my home on Saturday in a driving rainstorm. She said, "Why don't we go for a walk?" I said, "It's pouring out. What do you mean go for a walk?"
You know
And
what we
she
had?
did.
You know what we had? We had the birds. You know what we had in the backyard today, though, and I couldn't find them? The damnedest woodpecker you ever heard. This guy was, I think he's a little one, but he can make noise like a 20-pounder, man.
Yeah.
He was banging the hell out of it, and I couldn't find him.
Yeah, I got him around here.
Oh, check this out. My kid, we go up on Saturday. There's pigeons coming out of the silo. I said, go grab the 410.
Oh, sure.
2 minutes later, I hear a shot. He comes walking in with a pigeon. He ripped the feathers off it. He breasted it out. He brought the breasts home. He's going to eat the pigeon.
We used to
Kenny,
eat pigeons all the time.
Kenny, that was I had that meal in Florence, Italy, and it was fantastic.
Yeah, they got a name for it.
Yeah,
There's some
pigeon.
fancy name for it. It's pigeon. It's
It's
sky
pigeon.
carp.
When are you going to
Yeah.
make your next visit to Florence?
Not in the foreseeable future.
No, but you can travel cheap to Europe when this thing gets over, I'll tell you.
Oh man,
Do we call it
you think so?
squab?
Yeah,
You know-
squab.
Squab.
Here's-
Okay.
I got to tell you that squab. Yeah, I got to tell you, the wife was so upset. I said, okay, if they tell me they can't come and fix the TV till Friday or so,
Yeah.
I'll put you in a nice hotel for 4 nights. You can watch TV,
Yeah.
downtown. Because I was looking at the prices, like they're $80 a night at the nicest hotels in town.
Right.
I said, I'll put you in a hotel it'll be a nice break for both of us.
yeah.
How was that received?
I think she would have gone
Oh,
for it. I
okay,
think she was,
okay.
she was looking up hotels.
What grade did you give yourself over the weekend on caregiving?
Yeah. As a caregiver,
I would say, based on Saturday's difficulties before Sunday
Yeah.
F minus.
A stout F minus.
F minus. It was not good.
It's just amazing what's happened to your life, Patrick. And I kind of look at you and it cheers me up because number one, she broke her ankle. You had
Yes.
to come back and babysit her. And then this happened. You're trapped in the house with her. You can't leave. And then yesterday, you couldn't leave and you had no TV.
Well,
Wow.
I do think though that scorecard was adjusted much like rookie to an F plus after you got the TV up and running again.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
Yeah, I said, I love you. To the woman, I said, I love you. And Katie says from the next room, she says, give her a kiss. I said, she doesn't deserve that. You know? She's a hero.
Well, I thought Katie would have answered back, well, I don't love you.
Yeah. She was the fact that the TV popped back on.
You're a
brightened
hero.
Her mood.
You're a hero.
Well,
You're
no,
a hero.
I'm not a hero. but
I have
I'm
to
not
thank
the-
you for recommending a rom-com to me. It's a little known
Plus
fact
One.
that Royce and I both enjoy rom-coms, and you turned me on to Plus One. And the girl, the female actress, what's her name?
Maya Erskine.
She is drunk.
Asian chick.
She's drunk for 90% of the time, and she is hilarious.
She is
She's
great.
She way
What you doing
outacted.
there? What is
She way outacted the guy
Yeah.
in there. But it was pretty good until you get to the last 30 minutes when it gets serious, and then you have to fast forward.
But you know
to
what
the
I
end.
liked is the kiss and tell at the end
Yes.
did not turn into a long
Right,
thing.
right. It wasn't a big deal.
It was like
Yeah.
her saying,
Yeah.
you know you don't deserve a second chance.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
anyway.
I got to go.
Goodbye.
We'll see ya.
You did the yeoman work today.
I got to
Is
go.
it chilly in the garage? Pretty nice day in the garage.
Pretty nice on the shore. We opened Spoon Lake ice out yesterday. I'm looking at the lake. It's fantastic.
I'll give you a report on Medicine Lake Monday. So
Bet she's pretty close.
yeah.
Bet she's
I mean,
pretty
Friday,
close.
Not
Friday
today is
Friday.
Monday. What the
Today's
hell?
Monday. All right,
I know
boys.
who pitched. I don't know today's Monday. I know that Joe McClain pitched for the
Right.
Washington Senators
In 1961.
61 against the Twins. Goodbye.
All right, boys.